Serving the Delaware Valley with the best music and the best talk.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect that of radio station WVLT, Clear Communications Incorporated, its staff and management, or our sponsors. WVLT, Clear Communications Incorporated, retains the right to record all phone calls received during this program for future promotions.
Yeah, they come to snuff the rooster. Yeah, here come the rooster.
Welcome to the Jersey Shore podcast with host Damon Galdo on WVLT Cruisin 92.1. We'll take your calls at 856-696-0092.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Jersey Shore Radio Show, brought to you by America's Pulse Network. We got it sound? You good?
We're good.
All right. Brought to you by America's Pulse Network, coming to you live from Cruisin 92.1 WVLT, where we check the heartbeat of America and confirm, yes, we're still flatlining on common sense. I'm your host, Damon Galdo, with my co-host, Camden County LD6 candidate for Assembly, Peter Sykes. What's up, Pete?
Hey, Damon, how you doing?
So I'm doing pretty good. So I wrote this monologue for The Pulse. It's a new show. We'll get into that later on. It's a new podcast that I'm doing with multiple podcasters. But I wrote it last night. I figured it was kind of funny, but it kind of puts things in perspective from the left and, the right, I would say. Or common sense and not common sense, put it that way. So I just want to talk about this show. We're just a couple of Americans with a dangerous amount of common sense. Shocking, I know, in today's day and age. We didn't come together for fame, glamour, or matching DEI quotas. We came together because we're tired of the lies and sick of the spin. So, and let me say this with all the sarcasm in my soul. And I mean sarcasm because what I'm about to say really doesn't make sense, but it will put it in perspective. Of course, we thought it was brilliant to elect a dead guy for president in 2020. It's a genius move. Who better to lead the free world than someone who makes Weekend at Bernie's look like a documentary? We totally support government overreach, reckless spending, and all the isms: socialism, Marxism, fascism, communism, except for the two isms that created the greatest, most powerful, and most sought-out country to live in: capitalism and patriotism. We believe men can become women, women can become men, and your cat might be your spiritual gender guide. We think the borders should be as wide open as applications to be Doug Emhoff's nanny. And we definitely love when kids are sexualized in classrooms while their parents are told to sit down and shut up. We support DEI because merit is racist. We chant America last from our climate-controlled Priuses. We're all in on killing babies, canceling God, and jailing our political opponents for having bad vibes. And the grand finale, let's totally eliminate the First Amendment, because who needs free speech when you've got fact checkers? Now, obviously, I'm joking. We're the opposite of all that garbage. We're here because we believe in truth. And the thing about truth, it doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't bend for narratives. And it sure as hell doesn't come with a trigger warning. Every week, right here on the Jersey Shore, we're bringing you unfiltered, uncensored, unindoctrinated truth. No corporate overlords, no political puppets, just facts, freedom, and a whole lot of fire. So grab your coffee, your Constitution, maybe a stiff drink, because America still needs a wake-up call. And we're here to deliver it, loud and clear. This is the Jersey Shore, and we're just getting started. What do you got, Pete? How you doing today?
I'm doing great, brother. Listen, don't grab that stiff drink if you're out there driving right now, right? We don't need none of that negativity, okay? But, if you're sitting at home relaxing, that's your cup of tea, go ahead.
I forgot the disclaimer there. Yeah, that's right.
That's right. I got you, brother. We'll clean it up. Look, that's that hot fire right there. That's what I said. I was like, man, when I heard you say that the other day, I said, we got to clip that, man. That needs to be the intro to all your shows.
Well, I figured it puts it in perspective. When you say it that way, you're like, wait a minute, what's this guy believing? What's he talking about? That's craziness. It doesn't make sense whatsoever. So I figured, why don't I just put it in words and then see how everyone listening, hears it.
The problem is that when you cut out a lot of the fluff, you know what I mean? The left, the Democrats like to say,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah,
you hit it right on the noggin.
So yeah, so I mean, want to put in perspective, just to see what people thought about it. I figured that was the easiest way because it is basically stripping down all the sugar coating around all of it, and that's where we're at today. I mean, we just want to get back to common sense. So anyway, I wrote that, like I said, I've got a new show called The Pulse. It's part of the America's Pulse Network. With the same thing as my podcast, Jersey Shore, and same thing as a radio show, all under the 8 p.m. America's Pulse Network. That's every Wednesdays at 8 p.m. now. So you guys can check that out on Rumble, YouTube, on my ex at Damon and Galdo NJ, at Damon Galdo NJ, or at Damon Galdo on Facebook as well.
So I watched it last night, brother, the first episode of The Pulse. And I'll tell you what, you did a fantastic job narrating and being the host and just, getting everybody involved. I thought it was very, very good.
Well, I appreciate that. It was the first time we've ever done it. So I was just kind of winging it a little bit. But so what do we got for this week? What do we got in store? I mean, I know we just had Mother's Day, which is a great thing. How'd your mom enjoy Mother's Day?
Well, my mother's down in Florida, so I mean, we tried to get her some flowers, but of course everybody else tries to do the flower thing. So, they get down there and they're not the way that the picture shows they're supposed to be. I said, what, Mom? I said, we're not doing flowers anymore. We're just going to find you something. Whatever it is that you want, you need in your life right now, you let me know and we'll get that for you instead.
Well, there you go. That's why I stopped by. My mom, she has 6 kids. I'm 5 out of 6. So I stopped getting her gifts for Mother's Day, like buying her something, because I don't even know what to get her. So Mom, here's a gift card.
See, and that might be what we wind up getting to, because look, I'm just all about getting people practical things that they're going to go ahead and use, as far as gifts, right? I mean, look, you can buy what you want. I like the gift card idea, although it's a little, yeah.
Yeah, well, now she just straight up says, just give me cash.
Okay, well, you know what? Look, that's what Nora likes. My girl, that's what she likes. Just give me the cash. I tried making the mistake of buying her things, but I get them, they weren't on sale, or she gets upset because she could have got them cheaper someplace else. I'm like, all right, babe, you know what? Here, just you want the cash, you got the cash.
Yeah. Well, I took my daughter out to get my wife something for Mother's Day, and it was. I'm not going to say it was a mistake. My wife loved it. My wallet didn't.
It never does.
Yeah, my daughter's like, let's go to Ulta. She's 11. So you're going to Ulta, and she's like, yeah, this is over here. This is over. I said, whoa. I said, you're 11. This is a problem. I said, you already know how to navigate Ulta. You're 11. I said, that means you've been in here way too many times.
That's it. You're not wrong.
So $200 later, walking out of Ulta. Yeah. So we'll see if that gets reciprocated on Father's Day. But
yeah, that's all right. Look, we do for others. We do for others because it makes us feel good.
That's right.
It's not about, what we get in return is the whole point, it's so funny, man. I always like positivity, the whole point, the AA, NA people, right? They know the idea. they got the backstory on this. We do for others because it makes us feel good.
Yeah, I was only joking.
It's all right. I'm gonna work on your spirit, my guy. We're gonna be okay.
So what do we got going on this week? There's a lot of news to talk about, a lot of political news to talk about. I mean, we could start on, we want to talk about Trump, with his trip to the Middle East, what he's got going on over there. I mean, there's a lot of controversy, propaganda, all kinds of stuff surrounding that. And I don't know which way's up at this point until it all washes out, because there's so many different people saying different things.
And that's it, right? They say don't talk about the story for at least a week until we can figure out what really happened.
Yeah.
I know he's been out there. He's been trying to make some friends in the Middle East and, maybe try to change some thought processes and things like that. They were talking about adding a couple countries into the Abraham Accords.
Yeah.
Right. So, hopefully we'll see some positive change and movement out there.
Yeah. I mean, well, the way I see it, you can't go over there with the approach. I mean, they're a completely different culture, the way that they grew up. I mean, the religion is completely different as well. So they're not going to assimilate to Western values and Western ways. So, I think it like Obama and Biden made the mistakes of going over there and pushing their liberal stuff on them, and that's not going to work. They are who they are. They don't want to really change. Now, do they need to change some humanitarian things? Yes, we do too. But I go over there. He went over there and he just talked money, investments. That's what people. The prince in Saudi Arabia. That's what he wants to hear. So Trump went over there, gave him what he wanted to hear, got some investments out of the deal. But then he made nice with a couple people that I don't know if he should have made nice with. I mean, one guy was on the terrorist watch list with a $10 million bounty on his head up until like a month ago. So I don't know what to make of it yet, but I'm not going to talk about it because I'm not Jersey Shore.
And that's it, right?
All of it.
Yeah.
But I'll wait until, whatever comes out in the rinse, and then I'll dive deeper into it. In the meantime, we'll just keep hearing, the mainstream media condemn everything that Trump does. Doesn't matter what he does anyway. So I'm used to that. And then hear, the right media say, oh, no, it was good. It was good. Well, was it? Do we know yet?
Exactly.
Exactly. So I'm not going to really report. I'll just report that he went on a trip. Now, the whole thing with the guitar or Cutter, however you want to pronounce it.
I think it's guitar.
Yeah, well, people say Cutter. I think it's Cutter.
Okay.
Well, I don't know. But either way, if you're from Jersey, it's guitar. So how about that? So, but the whole $400 million airplane to replace Air Force One. What do you think about that?
Well, there's a couple ways to think about it, right? So number one, what I was hearing is that he was trying to get it done with Boeing to get a new Air Force One. And apparently Boeing's dragging their feet. They're not ready. So he goes over there, and all of a sudden, these guys want to give him up a $400 million plane or whatever it is to use as Air Force One. Now, look, personally, I have no idea. We have a lot of terrorist stuff going on and things like that. You're giving us a plane. Are they checking it out first? I would hope so.
Yeah, it's going to take them a long time to check it out. Make sure there's no Chinese spyware in there.
Something, God forbid, right? Any kind of remote controller or something, right? Who knows what they can wind up doing. But there's definitely something that we want to keep an eye on in that regards. But look, man, if these people want to go ahead and donate, and give to us, I'm never look a gift horse in the mouth,
Yeah, I guess so. But like any like terrorist funded state, they fund a lot of terrorists and terrorist groups.
Agree.
And they want to give the leader of the free world a $400 million plane. Here you go, fly off on it.
Listen though,
doesn't sound right.
So real talk though, you would like to go ahead and see us be able to bridge some of these gaps, right? And maybe have us start to come together so we can start to do a little bit of the humanitarian in a meaningful way, not the fake humanitarian that USAID was doing or anything like that. I'd like to see some real actual humanitarian efforts. Where we inspire these people to maybe try to be a little bit better over there in their country. It's all about trying to bring the people up nowadays. That's how I see it with the Great Awakening and everything going on. People are waking up and they're trying to take the power back. A lot of people all around the world have been suppressed for a very long time by, bad governments and not necessarily good rulers and things like that, right? So we would like to see the people get a little strain off their back. Maybe a little bit more freedom. If we could go ahead and maybe do that, and Trump is the great unifier, we know he is, maybe we could start to see something like that. I would very much like to see it.
Well, of course, I would like to see it too. I'm just...
Hey, listen, wishful thinking right now. I know, but, he changed his tune on Gaza a little bit. He was talking about the Palestinian people. I don't know. Maybe we'll see a little bit of a change,
Yeah, well, we'll see. Can always just stay hopeful. So another thing too, big controversial thing that's out there now that people are talking about, especially the mainstream media, the South African refugees. What are there, 59 people or something like that?
Afrikaans.
The Afrikaners or whatever you want to call it. Yeah. So a lot of people are up in arms, because they're white. Now, it doesn't matter to me, obviously, what color you are, the color of your skin.
Don't care.
Yeah, no. It matters to me if you do it legally.
And that right there was the big point that should be taken away from that, is that these people did apply for refugee status legally.
Yeah, they did. And then they were vetted as well. So, again, they just happen to be white. So it is what it is. So that's where I'm just going to leave it at. People can complain about it all they want. I don't care if they came and from another country and they were different color. Doesn't care if they were orange. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
But if they applied legally and they came over and they had the rights to do so, and it was proven.
And they have legitimate concerns over there right now. Do you see those videos?
Yeah,
that guy up there stroking out all that anger and hatred, and we're going to kill them, their children, their dogs. My goodness, what are we talking about here?
Yeah, and you got to think about it. You're giving up a generation of land to come here to start all over. It's not like it's, hey, I'm getting a free ride to come to the United States. But, everyone's going to have their have their issues with it. There's still the race baiting people out there, which I just can't wait for that to go away.
We have to get away from that because I'm very, very concerned that if we continue to go down this path, that we're going to wind up finding racists.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, or create them.
Well, creating them it equals finding them, in my opinion, because I don't necessarily look. I'm sure that there are some out there right now, right? Some people, sure, but not as much as it's being said right now. And you look at this story where Carmelo Anthony, stabbed that boy in the chest down in Texas.
Yeah.
Okay. And then all of a sudden we have a lot of, donations going to him, $500,000 or so. Mm-hmm. Right. And if you go down and read the comments, a lot of them were simply because he was black. Then you have that young lady that was dropping all types of filthy language, and a little toddler who was running through her purse, dropping racial slurs. And then somebody got up there and she's, yelling at that guy as well, taping it. Well, she says, they're coming for me, my family. Please go ahead and help us, survive, help us get out of here. They're threatening our lives. Next thing you know, they're getting $700,000, right? Because, she's white and trying to take a stand against all the racism that's going on. And you're seeing this escalate and escalate and escalate. And I'm very, very concerned that we are going to see a tipping point here at some point in time. And I do not want to see that.
Well, it's almost there. It's almost there.
No, I mean, agreed.
If people want to put up that kind of money to stay divided, that's a problem. And I think it's something that's stewing in a lot of people. And they're like, well, they get away with doing this, and then they get away with doing that. And then it's like, well, how come I get in trouble for this and I get in trouble? And it doesn't matter what side you're on. It's never going to work.
It continues to escalate until somebody is the bigger person and shuts it down and say, no, we're not doing this anymore.
Like, I don't know about you, but growing up for me, it wasn't in front of your face, like every conversation. Mm-mm. I mean, sure, there were, you knew people that were racist, or you had that, great uncle or uncle.
Yeah, dumb kids using bad language or something stupid. There was some of that around, but no, I think that we were the closest that we've ever been at that point in time, 90s, 2000s. And then all of a sudden 2010s rolls around and I don't know what happened, but the divide just goes ahead and it was pushed. It was pushed is what happened, right? This is what the people in charge wanted. They wanted us fighting amongst ourselves so that they could go ahead and rob our country blind.
And that's basically what it is. I mean, it's more of a me, than looking at this country as a whole. Like you just look at everyone as American. If you're here legally, you're an American. That's it.
That's it.
If your family's been here 400 years, you trace it to the lineage back then, or you've been here a decade. Whatever it may be, if you came here legally, you're a citizen, you're an American. Hands down. Common sense.
Common sense. I mean, I just don't know. That's why I always say they like to say diversity is our strength. And I always counter that with no, unity is our strength. And we need to come together.
Yeah. Well, another thing to bring up, too, another big one. I'm sure everyone heard about it already. It's been all over the news since last Friday. The mayor of Newark, Ross Baraka.
What a gem.
Yeah, I know. Tried to break into an ICE detention facility. Of course, he's the victim now because he got arrested. But, as I checked, the mayor of Newark can't conduct oversight on federal detention centers.
So that's what the left is trying to say, right? That's their narrative is that, they're allowed to go there and go investigate the ICE facility. Well, no, senators or Congress people can go and investigate if they have, I believe they could show up unannounced by themselves. All right. Yeah, they went there with the mayor of Newark to go and a gang of protesters, you know what I mean, to go ahead and cause problems. That is never allowed.
Yeah, I know. But, it was all staged. It was meant that he wanted to get arrested. He wanted all this stuff to come up.
Because now he's starting to go up in the polls.
Yeah, no, I know. And it shouldn't be that way either. But unfortunately, that's the world we live in. But, the good thing is that I would bet that he's not going to win. But it's just the way you're going about it. Like, why don't you just go out there and tell people, say, listen, I want to be governor because I want to do this. Here are my policies. Here's the things I want to change. This is what I want to do for you. That's why you should vote for me, because this is what I want to do for my constituents. I want to represent New Jersey to the best of my ability and, to the best of your future, the future of your children. Instead, you want to go and start all this infighting and, and just start these problems. And this controversy now. Oh, wow, should he have been arrested? Was it because he was black now? And then the same thing with Congresswoman Watson. She's swinging her way, hitting people, hitting people with their chest buttons, screaming, "Get off me! Don't touch me!" Well, you're pushing through federal officers.
Yeah, and then don't touch me.
And don't touch me. I mean,
isn't that funny how that works?
Yeah, I know. It's like, come on, man. These people weren't elected to act like children. You're supposed to be an adult, represent the people that voted you in. They don't expect you to go out there and start all this stuff. We don't need this right now. We need progress. And I'm just saying, if you're in the way of progress, you're going to get run over. Because I think a lot of people woke up and in November and they said, we're just tired of all the BS. We don't want to deal with this anymore. We
just want to go back to normal.
Yeah, exactly.
We just want to go back to normal. Like, when did that ever go out of style? Like, I just don't understand.
I'm not sure, Pete. I'm not sure. But if anybody wants to call in, call in 856-696-0092. Lines are open right now. So Pete, I want to ask you too as well. So how's the race going? How's your campaigning?
Well,
Jack.
Well, look, Jack, he just got back from a little rendezvous down south. He went to go see some family over Mother's Day. We're going ahead and we've been going to every little event that we can, spring up to and things like that, all the little meetings. We have some donor letters we're about to go ahead and get sent out. So we're working on things behind the scenes here. And, I really, we're planning on getting really going as soon as, probably the primary. We're going to start, increasing it. But as soon as that primary happens, we're going to hit the ground running. That's absolutely the goal.
So, all right. Well, like I said, you're going up against the.
Well, we'll see. See, right now we don't know who we're going up against. We just know we're going up against the machine.
Well, I'm pretty. Well, yeah. The Democratic Party is a machine, no matter who wins that
and that's
primary.
it.
And I'm pretty sure it's going to be the guy that won the primary for the last 29 years, probably.
29
especially
years.
His opposition running against him is another gem in the Democrat out there selling feet pics of herself online. Foot fetish pics, who's actually running for assembly against Lou Greenwald. I forget her name offhand. It's not relevant anyway. Doesn't deserve her name mentioned even. But and I'm sorry. I mean, I don't know who's buying those feet pics, but you need to see.
If you read the story, it was more than just feet pics. That's all I'm going to say.
I didn't want to read the whole story.
I try to look.
I saw the picture and then I said, "No, I'm not going any further." So, but anyone that bought those pictures or whatever they bought from her.
It's a shame, man. We tell our young girls that, oh yeah, do this, use your bodies, do what you want for this, but that stuff stays out there forever.
Yeah.
Once you make that decision, it doesn't go away. You can't, good luck getting it off the internet.
Yeah. And then what she said, what her excuse was, it reminded her, I'm going to say this word, of her slutty self, she said. And this woman was on the school board.
It's her slutty error. That's what
error.
She's in her slutty error. Yeah, it's not the type of role models I would like my children to look up to. Let's just put it like that. Listen, when you go ahead and you decide I'm going to run for government, I'll remind you, I wasn't planning on running for government. All right. I got thrown into it. But you know what? I'm already living the life that I need to be living and trying to be a good person and trying to help people and trying to do these things. When you're running for government, you really need to not live in a glass house.
Yeah, I know. So it's like, I don't know. I just don't get it. But the fact of the matter is, that may have boosted her in the polls. It's like the more crazy stuff that you do.
They just keep pushing degeneracy and debauchery, and that's what they want our youth to look up to nowadays. And it's just, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I don't know how we got to this point either.
I don't either. I mean, I'm not going to lie. When I saw the article, I mean, I did find it slightly funny for a second. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is a joke. But no, it wasn't. So, but yeah, all right. The Democrats you guys are lighting the world on fire, literally. So keep it up. So you said Jackson's got back from Phoenix?
Yeah. He was down there. He got back. We, went over and took some pictures the other day. Man, I always said, Damon, Fetterman was one of my favorite guys right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
He lowered the dress code. I was like, I could run now. Just joking, right? Before anything came about. And, I'll tell you what, man, I put on them suits and I am digging it.
He's gonna have to wear one to the next.
I am digging this. I might die in here. It's a little warm, but look, I am digging the suits, man.
He said to me, he said, "There's no way I can wear. I can't wear suits." He said, "I can. I like to be comfortable." Then he goes out, buys a couple suits, and now he spends about an hour in front of the mirror.
That's it.
Ties per. He said, "Man, I didn't think I'd look this good."
Listen, I've spent so much time trying to get the power knot going. All right, like I'm telling you, like I got all these ties. I'm trying to power knot them up, get them all ready, so I don't have to worry about it when the time comes. Yeah, it's a struggle out here, man. But we're doing great things.
Yeah, you guys are getting out there too. I like that. But the main thing is I keep saying, you guys got to get on that fundraising stuff because they're going to raise a lot of money, Democrats. So,
well, listen, if anybody's listening right now and you want to go donate to our cause, all right, votejackandpete.com, votejackandpete.com.
There you go. Click on the donate button. And hey, Kim, let's get a fundraiser set up for these guys and all the candidates in Camden County. Let's get something going. I'll help out. I'll promote it. Let's do it.
Listen, I got a couple ideas in the old thought box over here, so we're gonna see if we can get some good stuff rolling for the summertime.
Yeah, I like it. I'm already playing on a dunk tank.
On a dunk tank?
Yeah.
All right, are you gonna be the clown?
No, you and Jack.
Me and Jack are gonna be the clowns.
Yeah.
I'm not wearing a suit. I'm not wearing a suit for that.
So, well, it's just trying to have fun. It's all about good things, positive vibes, and try to have fun doing it.
Listen, I'll sit there and take the dunk. I have no problem with doing that.
No, I know you will. I just want to be the first person to throw the ball.
Yeah, it's a good thing you throw like a girl.
Well, that's why I want to play. I said that, playing women's sports, that's part of the first narrative in my monologue.
No, there you go. Listen, you probably wouldn't be one of those ones winning. I'll tell you that.
No. I probably wouldn't. I wouldn't. Doesn't matter. If I played women's basketball, they'd still be dunking on me anyway.
There you go.
So, so what do you think's up next? What's up in the news next? I know we got
there's a lot.
RFK was had some hearings yesterday.
I love RFK, man. Just the whole Maha movement. I am 100% on board with that. We need to go ahead and get healthy again. But once again, the Democrats are over there and they're throwing shade at them left, right, and side to side, trying to shut them down, trying to shame them. They have protesters out there. The co-founder of Ben and Jerry's ice cream apparently got arrested. For standing up and protesting and screaming out, RFK kills people with AIDS or something.
Yeah, and the best thing about that, well, not that particular story, but Ben and Jerry's, what did they say? They said anyone that's on Indian land or, has to give it back, doesn't matter how long they've been on it. And then they find out that their main facility,
their main headquarters
is on Indian land. So
yeah, well, you got to be careful what you say, man.
So it looks like we have a caller. Hey, caller, you're live on the air. What's your name? Where are you from?
Yeah, hi. This is Chuck from Florida.
Hey, Chuck. How are you?
Good, good. I just wanted to call in and congratulate you and tell you how much I enjoyed the Pulse. That was a wonderful show. Like I said, I only actually got to see about half of it so far, but I mean, every minute of it was so interesting. And again, the guests you had were just wonderful. And is it going to be on every week, or how frequently are we going to be able to see it?
Yeah, it'll be on every week, every Wednesday. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Myself, Alexandra, and Seth will be the hosts, and we're going to rotate guests in. I mean, you might see the same guests, 2 weeks in a row or so, but we're going to rotate different guests in as we go.
I'm sure you'll see me on there at some point in time.
Yeah, Pete will be on there. We got to vet them properly first.
Yeah, I say some wild stuff.
Yeah. Well, and again, the one guest that you had was speaking about the business going on in the Middle East. And I mean, these people, it's a totally different culture. And yes, we have to, like I said, be careful dealing with this. I mean, the one guest you had was speaking about things, and it's just we have to be careful dealing with this and these acts that we're making, and always double check everything. Now, I only got to see half of the Pulse. Did you mention anything about the new Disney in Dubai?
No, we didn't get to that.
Well, that's very interesting because, again, I live in the heart of the LGBTQ plus community here, and not a word. They went about Ron DeSantis and They were all upset when he started the Don't Say Gay bill, and there was protests and everything. Disney builds a new theme park where each and every one of them would be arrested, and yet they say nothing. There's not a word about that with that community. So you can tell everything is just being financed. It's somebody, the big boss says, "Oh, don't say nothing." They don't say nothing. If somebody says say something, they say something. But it's all just a game. It seems to be just a game with a lot of these groups.
Yeah, they don't really care. I mean, Disney's executives don't really care. I mean, they might have a few people that they employ that are members of that group or whatever that actually do care about it and are excited about putting this stuff in, in kids' movies and all that. But once it came back and bit them in the butt, and it did. I mean, look at the
they had to recap that money.
Yeah. So and now all of a sudden, everything, the hill they were willing to die on just shrunk completely. So we're going to build a new theme park in Dubai. It goes against everything we've been talking about for the past 4 or 5 years or so.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing how quick they switch? And I love the way you make the comparison with Weekend at Bernie.
Oh, yeah.
And that is so fast. Well, again, I just wanted to call in and tell you how much I enjoyed the polls, how much I'm looking forward to it next week, and congratulate you on the show.
All right. No, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, it was our first episode with the Pulse, and I think it went well for the first time. So
it did. It was really, really well. Really well done, too. Okay, sir. Thank you. Goodbye.
All right. Thanks for calling in.
Thanks.
So, all right. Well, we have one fan of the Pulse.
That's it.
Getting there.
I'll tell you what, it's so funny with Disney, man. I mean, this is not a new thing that Disney has been doing. If you go back and look at Pinocchio from the 1930s, and if you just Google right now, unless you're driving, the on Pleasure Island, Pinocchio Pleasure Island, and watch the clip of what they say in that. Oh my God, it'll shock your mind. They were talking about pedo stuff in the 30s.
Yeah, I know.
In the 30s.
Yeah.
This is just, oh my God.
I love how conscious you are of the listeners, though, by the way. You tell them to Google something, but not if you're driving.
Yeah.
See, I don't even think I'm like, when you just Google it, I just think in my mind when you get home, but you're always looking
listen,
out for
I'm all about safety. I'm looking out for people, man. I'm trying to build people up. I don't tear them down.
But yeah, I know it's all about the money, and that's what it is. And that was trending at the time, and they figured, okay, well, this is the way we're going to shift with the wind, the way the wind blows, and then it came back to bite them because nobody really wanted all that. They didn't care that that existed. It's just like, okay, well, you don't have to shove it, down my kids' throats when they don't even understand that stuff yet. Just keep it as a cartoon movie, and just talk about
and start to shape their mind without actually talking about it. That's the problem, bro, is all those movies.
Yeah, I know. I mean, there's no point for it. There's no point. I mean, you can go on both sides. I mean, yeah, does the prince kiss the princess and wake her up and all that stuff? Yeah, but it's a little kiss. I mean, it's innocent.
But every single one of those Disney movies has one piece in it that they always said, oh, that's just for the adults while the kids are watching. That's to keep you entertained. Oh, look at the clouds in The Lion King. Oh, look at the way the towers are shaped in The Little Mermaid, right? Every single one of these things is just opening their eyes to something that they don't need to necessarily be seeing.
Yeah, no, you're right.
And warping the mind of our children. I'll tell you, man, look, these people that used to run this, Walt Disney probably himself, not a very good person.
Well, Walt Disney, I don't know. We'll see. We'll ask him when he wakes up one day. He still has his head frozen, I believe.
Oh, all right. Well, we'll find out.
So I don't know, man. It's hard to make sense of all this stuff. I mean, you just want things to go back to common sense, and it's just it gets to a point where you're fed up. You had enough. It's like, come on, man. Can we just go back to normal? Go back to Rodney King. Can't we all just get along? It's that simple. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't get it sometimes. I really don't. I don't. I wish I could, but I don't. So I'm just going to keep speaking the truth about different things, and
that's all we can do. For so long, brother, before the internet, right, and even like in the beginning, people weren't looking this up. This wasn't common knowledge, right? Like, if you saw it, maybe you saw it, but did everybody else see it? Like, you don't know. And then all of a sudden, they start showing it to you, and once you see it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah. So I don't know, but I mean, look at it. Even with Disney, I mean, everyone took a spin on that. They did an about face on the DEI and and all that stuff. I mean, Bud Light.
Well, how much money do you have to lose until you realize that this ain't working?
Yeah, exactly.
The math just ain't mathing.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not. I would say it's not so much. It's like, oh my god, I can't believe that. It's just like, why? It's like, I don't need that. Just stick to beer and football. Like it was basically, it was a product that was.
Well, they even had to politicize football too, right? All the sports. I mean, everything had to get politicized. I know that was the death of the bread and circus, right? Because that's what it was. They go ahead and they give us the bread and circus. Go ahead, watch your sports, watch this, watch that. Everybody in the country, right, was pretty much big on sports, and then they started politicizing. It's like, I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I had Eagles season tickets for 14 years. Diehard Eagles fan, diehard football fan. And then when they started getting political, I gave up my tickets. I'm like, I want to watch a game. I know I put myself in politics, but when I don't want to, I want to watch a game. I just want to watch a game.
Well, this was before I was even involved in politics. You know what I mean? They started doing this, and this is kind of what pushed us into it, right? Because we all got tired of seeing it.
Yeah, exactly.
You turn on the game, you're trying to watch it. Oh, brought to you by Pfizer.
Yeah,
all right, every single commercial, Pfizer. We got 2-3 different national anthems we're going to sing now. End racism in the end zone. Listen, if you want racism to go away, stop talking about it.
Yes, Morgan Freeman said that. Very smart gentleman. But yeah, it's like, when you're putting all that out there, and now you have what do they call it, the manosphere now, and all that, and
that's what they try to call it.
Yeah, and they're coming out with studies that Republicans are all about protein and working out.
Being healthy. Okay.
Being healthy. I'm just like, what? Like, where else are you going to go with this? I mean, what are you trying to prove? People that tend to be Republican like to work out and eat protein, high protein diet.
Look, I'm down 50 pounds in the last year, brother. You know what I mean? Let's get healthy.
I was just trying to figure out, is that a bad thing?
Not to me.
To be in shape? I mean, I don't.
Well, it is if you're the left, though, because what do they push? Body positivity. Stop fat shaming. Stop doing this. Stop doing that, right? Everything is a shame. You can't shame anybody anymore. Well, look, shaming is a tool that works.
It does, actually. It does. And I know, I mean, it's, as long as you're not attacking somebody's inborn dignities, then they can't help themselves. But it's something you can help, and
you call out bad behavior and you encourage good behavior.
There you go. Mr. Positivity.
Mr. Positivity. This is how we're going to change the world. All right, listen, what is that saying that they say? If there's no recourse for negativity, there's no, reward for positivity, there's no reason to change.
So, no, you're right. You're right. But why do you think, I'm serious, it's a serious question. Why do you think that the left, just want to die on these 90-10 issues and won't let it go? Like, what is their playbook?
I feel like they don't have anyone, playbook anymore. I mean, listen, so in my mind, all right, when you go ahead and you look at what used to run the country, okay, didn't matter if you voted for Republican or Democrat, all right, they were all playing by the same book. They were the same people controlled by the hand that rocks the cradle, all right, the powerful elites, the globalist elites that run the world behind the scenes. They own all the money, they own all this stuff, and we just rent from them, all right? They were all part of that club. Well, all of a sudden, Donald Trump comes down, and he's not part of that club. And the MAGA movement is the the antithesis of the global elites. That's how I see it.
No, yeah, you're probably right.
And that's why we're starting to see pushback and because look, what is it that they want to do? Well, they want a population control. They've come out and say this. Klaus Schwab has come out and said, the Georgia Guidestones, we want to reduce the population down from 8 billion to 1 billion, and we've seen this. Every single policy that they push is anti-human.
Yeah, he's in trouble for something, by the way. I just heard about it. I didn't catch it. I was just pulling up. Yeah, I forget what it is, but something with his little, evil-minded globalization group or something.
I bet Gates is in there too.
Yeah, something with money. I don't know what it is, but we talk about it next time. But yeah, I don't know. I see. The one thing is too, and you said this before, about what the Nazis used to do. They used to accuse the other side of which they
Yep.
You are guilty.
Yep, Nazi propaganda playbook.
And that's what it is. I mean, that was Joseph Goebbels. He was Hitler's minister of propaganda. And he once said, accuse the other side of that which you are guilty. And it wasn't just a throwaway line. That was a strategy, and it worked. Nazis didn't come into power by telling the truth. They came into power by flooding the system with lies, scapegoating enemies and controlling what people could say, read, and believe. That sounds familiar to the left, doesn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
I mean, look at their playbook. Like Nazi propaganda painted Germany as a victim, attacked by internal traitors, outside forces, and shadowy conspiracies. They claim to be defending democracy. We hear that a lot, only from the left. We got to defend democracy, preserving culture, and protecting children, all while silencing dissent, burning books, and indoctrinating the next generation with state-approved ideology. Let's jump to today. The American left uses the same psychological warfare. They call conservatives fascists while they use the FBI to investigate parents at school board meetings. They claim to fight misinformation while working with big tech to silence opposing views. They preach diversity while enforcing ideological conformity in our schools, businesses, and media. They say they're saving democracy while they destroy the foundations of it. So, I mean, it's very similar, and they say they're against hate while labeling half the country as domestic extremists.
Yeah, isn't that something? You're a patriot, you're a domestic extremist.
Yeah, exactly.
You want to help the American people and rise them up, and you're an extremist.
Yeah,
because it doesn't go. That right there, what you're reading, is the globalist viewpoint.
Yeah. I mean, look, they scream tolerance, but if you question their narrative, you're canceled, demonized, or worse.
Even if you're on their side. If you're on their side and you stop talking about the things that they want you to talk about, you're out of the club.
Yeah, I know.
You're out of the club. You're ostracized.
I know. So, I mean, it's not freedom. It's authoritarianism, dressed up in rainbow flags and social justice slogans. So, that's basically what they do. I mean, they're taking and the thing is, and going back to what Joseph Goebbels said, accusing other people for that which you're guilty of, that's what they do. I mean, they're calling, Trump a Nazi, Trump a fascist, any MAGA person, and any Republican a fascist or whatever it may be, when they're the Nazis. And they're doing the same thing the Nazis did.
Well, remember this, Damon, okay? Back at the end of World War II, all right, we had this thing called Operation Paperclip. Are you familiar with Operation Paperclip?
Yeah.
That's where we took a bunch of Nazi scientists and brought them into high levels of our government, including NASA and God knows where else. All right. And, look, they brought their ideology with them, and it's been spreading ever since. It's like watching Captain America, in real life.
Yeah. Yeah. What was that, Hydra?
Yeah, Hail Hydra. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly right.
So
you should go back and watch Captain America Winter Soldier, by the way. It's a history lesson.
It actually was a pretty good history lesson, even though it was it was fiction, with Hydra and all that.
Yeah.
But it was pretty much the same thing.
Bro, that is real life.
Yeah, well, I'm saying Hydra anyway.
I'm with you, but I'm just simply saying that right now is literally what we're watching in our government.
So yeah, no, we are. And and the only thing that's going to stop it is from people getting involved, people getting out there to vote the right people. And I prefer political outsiders myself. Not people that have been in government for a long time. I think if you're there too long, then eventually you can be as good as you want. I think eventually they pull you in.
That's it. Eventually you will be corrupted. The longer you go in, the chance of you being corrupted continue to increase.
Yeah, that's why I believe in term limits for everything.
Yep.
There should be term limits in Congress and Senate and all that. I mean, we have it for governors, we have it for president. There should be term limits. Now, say you're a Congress man or woman. Okay, you serve, say, what is it, 2-year term? So say you can serve 6 years as Congress. But if you want to run for something else, okay, I'm okay with that. You want to run for U.S. Senate or run for
move up the
government,
ladder, so to speak.
Yeah, but then you're termed out of that eventually. So, and that's the way it should be. It shouldn't be
not 29 years, one guy in an assembly over Camden County. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no, not a Lou Greenwald who's going after Biden's record, by the way, of 40 some years. So. I wonder how old is Lou? He got to be up there, I would assume, with 29 years. Well, you never know. I don't know. But so we'll see. You'll most likely be going up against him. I think he's going to take out the foot lady.
Well, we'll see, man. Look, whatever it is, whoever they put up against, we're ready to win. That's all I know. We're ready to make change. Camden County needs change. New Jersey needs change, and we're ready to bring it.
Yeah, definitely. You know, one thing too I was watching, I wanted to bring up. It was a congressional hearing. It was Senator Josh Hawley, and they had State Farm, they had Nationwide, you know, all the insurance companies, and he brought them in. He brought in witnesses, people that lost their houses in like California from the fire.
I just heard State Farm, I think, or one of them is going up. The California approved 17% increase for their rates.
Yeah. So it's insane. I'm bringing it up because I just got a letter the other day. My homeowner's insurance went up $400 from last year. For what? What, every recouping money because I got to make the payments elsewhere? I mean, there were people in there that were witnesses that, you know, they've been out of their homes for almost a year. And when the adjusters came out from the insurance company, it was either State Farm or one of them. They sent out an adjuster. Adjuster comes back and he says, well, we have to give them, it was like over $400,000 complete wash. The house was done, you know, and they said $400,000, you know, to rebuild everything. So they went and they told them, no, you have to readjust that claim to lower it. So they did. They lowered it as much as they could, and they went back and said, this is as low as we can go. And they said, no, you have to lower it even more. They came back with this one woman that was, she hired her own private adjuster, and he was right with the guy that first adjusted it. It was over $400,000, and they gave her $49,000.
Wow.
So they were getting grilled in Congress.
All because of poorly run leadership in California, where they didn't have water, they didn't have anything to stop this. You know, I mean, it's a shame to see people losing everything that they had.
Yeah, there were some people that were there that from one of the latest hurricanes that were still out of their home, and they weren't doing anything about it. And then he went over, you know, the profits that they made. The CEO made like $29 million, and they made billions in profits. But then when it comes to payout, they actually hired this company that was like, I don't know, it was maybe, I think it was like 15, 20 years ago, somewhere around there, that came in and showed them how to beat their clients. You know, so these people are paying their premiums, and it's mandated to pay these premiums. You can't not have insurance. You know, we buy a house or a car.
Mandatory.
It's mandatory to buy it. So the government's making you buy the insurance, which I believe you should have insurance because
anything could happen. Yeah. And you want to be prepared.
But if you're being made to have it, when it comes time for a claim, they better have your money for you. You know, it's ridiculous.
Well, the problem is nowadays you need so much insurance. You need insurance for the car, insurance for the home, insurance for your health, insurance for everything, and they just keep raising all the rates.
Yeah, I know, because I mean, I get it. It is a business. I mean, they're not there for free. They're supposed to make a profit, but the astronomical profits are not paying out on it. I mean, it is a risk. When you open a business, you're taking a risk, you know, and you're taking a high risk, but you get high reward. So if you're reaping that high reward for the whole time, sometimes you're going to have to pay a high risk when a natural disaster happens. So maybe you don't make as much money that year, but you got to pay out. I mean, that's just the way it is. But I mean, I'm looking at my car insurance for no reason, no accidents, nothing. $200
a month
in the past 2 years, a month.
Wow, yeah.
You know, went up 100 last year, another 100 this year for no reason whatsoever. I called other insurance companies and said, no, that's a going rate now in New Jersey. I'm like, for what?
Yeah.
Like, we don't have a ticket, not a speeding ticket, not even a parking ticket.
Yeah.
And they're just raising the rates, and they're like, that's what it is. And I called like 5 other insurance companies. They're like, yeah, we really can't beat that. We're coming in around the same.
And it's because I think of a lot of the disasters and the stuff that we've just seen going on, right? I mean, imagine how many cars got destroyed in that fire as well, right? I mean, you know, in the extreme weather that we've been having is.
I get it, but my point is,
it's not affordable.
Why am I paying for it?
100%.
They're the ones that own the business, the insurance business. They're the ones reaping all the rewards, all those years, all the billions and millions of dollars. And then when it comes time to actually take a hit, you know, pawn it off the
system is clearly not working. We're watching it crumble before our eyes.
Yeah.
Because it's unsustainable the way they keep going. If they want to continue to raise rates, people aren't going to be able to afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they can't afford it already as is, you know, especially here in New Jersey, with the cost of living just continues to go up.
Yeah. And at what point do they price you out of your house and your car? You know what I mean? To where you can't afford it.
And then what do you do at that point in time? Right? Like, what are you going to do next?
Exactly. It's unbelievable. And the thing is, like I said, there's no accidents, nothing like that. It's just, we're raising it. I'm like, why? Why are you raising it? And I mean, years ago, my wife got into an accident. I mean, this was years ago. And we had the same insurance company for probably a decade at the time. Got into a little accident, fender bender. I think it cost the insurance company like $1,800 to fix the car. So, of course, they raise your rates. I mean, which is, everyone knows they're going to raise your rates when you file a claim. But they raised them to a point where within a year, they recouped the $1,800 that they paid out.
Mm-hmm.
So
then your rates didn't go down.
Yeah, they didn't go down after that. They stayed the same. So
they stayed the same.
So within a year, they got their $1,800 that they paid out already for me. Plus, they stashed the $15,000 I paid them for the past decade.
Mm-hmm.
So that was for nothing. That was just no.
Isn't it funny how that works? Yes, you're absolutely right, Damon. You're paying all this money for years with no problems.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, one problem happens. Oh, we're raising your rates. We're taking all this money. We got our money back, but all the money you paid in, that's just ours,
Yeah, that's what I said. I'm arguing with the person with fire. I know it's not, they work for the company, but I'm like, listen. I said, just put this in perspective. I've had this insurance for a decade. I added it up. I said, well, I don't know, maybe it was like somewhere around $15,000. I said, so the past 10 years, I gave you roughly $15,000, $16,000. Nothing happened. My wife gets into a fender bender. It costs you $1,800 to pull from that $15,000, $16,000 I already gave you. So then you're going to raise my rates. And within a year, I said, here, let's do the math right now. I said, this month, and I'm on the phone with the person. And they're like, yeah, so they're going to recoup the $1,800 in a year. I said, recoup the $1,800, plus I'm still paying what I paid before. And then my rates are going to go down.
They never go down.
And they're like, no, you got to wait so many years.
Yeah, they never go down.
I said, how is this right? And she said, well, yeah, you're kind of right, Sarah. I'm like, well, then why are you doing it?
We're watching. I'm telling you, man, we're watching every single system that we have here. We're watching it crumble right before our eyes right now. And we're going to be reborn into a new system in the very near future. I don't know what that system's going to look like yet, but it's got to be better than what we're doing right now because this is unsustainable.
Well, that's why I'm proposing this right now. I'm calling you guys out. You, Jack, Constance, and everyone else. And 4 minutes. Okay. So and
Norm, we're calling out Norm.
And Chris Conwell's running for assembly as well. All you guys are running for assembly. We get all these Republican assembly people in, and then we get a Republican governor. All work together. Fix my insurance. Can you do that for me?
Hey, look, man, we're
not just mine, everybody else. I'm not being selfish.
No, absolutely. Look, that's the plan, right? Is that we have to come up with this new system. However, we're going to go ahead and implement it. And I mean, look, it's right now it's an idea. You know what I mean? Like we have to form said idea and come up with the best ways to go about doing it. But I'm telling you, the way that things have been going, we cannot continue going this way. Our children will not have a world to live in if we continue going the way that we've been going.
You're absolutely right. And then you got to figure out a way without too much government overreach. You don't want the government, controlling it, but at least some stipulations saying, okay, well, you got to balance it out here. You can't just rake people over the coals,
Yeah, because as we're sitting here talking, I'm like, could maybe we should go ahead and make it like a nonprofit, right? Where they're not making all this kind of tons of money. Maybe the government should be in control of the insurance, but I'm like, no, we don't necessarily want that either. So look, wheels are churning. Yeah. All right, look, there's an idea that I haven't necessarily pondered yet, so I'll see what I can come up with. But we need some outside of the box thinking right now to come up with good ways to go about and fixing all the problems that we have.
Well, I figured I'd give you plenty of time. There's plenty of room on that website, on that platform, so.
Absolutely. Wait till you see the transparency portion. What?
We're not going to unveil that yet.
No, coming soon.
So, 2 minutes, Norm? All right, so we got about 2 minutes left. So, Pete, well, first I'll talk about the podcast. I still have the podcast, Jersey Shore Radio, Jersey Shore podcast on Mondays at 8 p.m. And then this is all under America's Pulse Network, by the way. So Mondays at 8 p.m., I have the Jersey Shore podcast. Tuesdays, we have Alexander Levine live podcast at 8. This is all at 8 p.m. Wednesdays, we have the Pulse now, which is multiple podcasters that come together. That's Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Again, Thursdays, Alexander Levine live. Of course, we got the radio show here from 5 to 6 every Thursday as well. Then Fridays, my podcast, which I usually do, I'm just going to re-air this radio show and then come on in the back second half of the hour from home and finish out the podcast because it's getting a little hectic and too much time.
You're doing too much, buddy.
I know.
You wear too many hats right now.
Well, I try. But
you're doing a great job.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Tell my wife. So, but,
we got to get her involved.
Nah, she supports me. She does. I love her. She's awesome. But yeah, so we have that. And then we have Seth coming back for the
America's Pulse Network. The mainstream media is bought and paid for. The truth is twisted to fit their agenda. But America is waking up, because podcasts are the future for trusted media. Welcome to the America's Pulse Network. It is a network built by patriots that upholds the Constitution. The America's Pulse Network stands for God, truth, and the America First movement. There is no corporate propaganda, no government spin, just real news, real talk, and real voices fighting for faith, freedom, and the future of this great nation with common sense. Here are some of America's Pulse Network podcasts. Alexandra Levine Live, hosted by Alexandra Levine. Jersey Shore Podcast, hosted by Damon Galdo. The Conservative Corner, hosted by Seth Eisenberg. APN's The Pulse, hosted by Alexandra, Damon, and Seth. So tune into America's Pulse Network on the following social media platforms: X/Twitter, Rumble, Truth Social, Facebook, and YouTube. Join the revolution. Because the pulse of America beats for God and country. America's Pulse Network is for faith, family, freedom, and truth.